shit, huh?
Remember Ralph Bakshi's most controversial film that got pulled from theaters by protesters? Coonskin wasn't just offensive. It was a Molotov cocktail thrown at American racism that exploded so violently, even its own studio disowned it. Behind those shocking blackface caricatures and brutal satire lurked death threats, career destruction, and a film so dangerous it nearly got people killed. Let's count down 20 shocking facts about animation's most canceled movie. 20. Paramount dropped it after seeing one scene. Paramount Pictures financed Coonskin, but abandoned the film after executives screened the opening blackface sequence. They panicked.
And out of the 350, there was only 2 that was niggas. And one of them was pushed.
Realizing they'd funded something commercially and politically radioactive, Paramount pulled all distribution support, leaving Bakshi with completed film and 0 theatrical release. The studio's cowardice proved major corporations will fund controversial art, then abandon artists when actual controversy materializes. Bakshi was left holding a finished film his own financiers were terrified to release. 19. The title was changed 3 times. Originally titled Coonskin No More, then Bustin' Out, before settling on Coonskin. Each change reflected desperate attempts to find a non-inflammatory title. Every option was controversial, and no title could disguise the film's content. The multiple rebranding attempts reveal how unmarketable the film was from conception. They couldn't find words that wouldn't trigger immediate rejection, proving the project was doomed commercially regardless of artistic merit or satirical intent. 18. CORE protested without watching it. The Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, organized massive protests demanding the film's suppression, but leadership admitted they hadn't actually watched it. They condemned Bakshi's work based on secondhand descriptions and still images, refusing to view complete context. The protests succeeded despite being launched by people who deliberately avoided seeing what they attacked. It's censorship through willful ignorance, destroying art based on assumptions rather than engagement, proving controversy thrives on refusing to examine actual content. 17. Bakshi received death threats. Daily. Ralph Bakshi received death threats throughout production and after release, with credible threats requiring police protection and security measures. Multiple threats specifically promised to kill Bakshi for making racist films, ironically targeting a filmmaker attempting anti-racist satire. The violence proved audiences couldn't distinguish between depicting racism and endorsing it, treating satirical exaggeration as literal belief. Bakshi's life was endangered for making exactly the kind of confrontational art he intended, validating his worst fears about American racial discourse. 16. The animation was rotoscoped from blaxploitation films. Much of Coonskin's live-action sequences were rotoscoped directly from blaxploitation films Bakshi didn't have rights to use. The fluid motion came from tracing copyrighted movies without permission, essentially stealing from black-created content while making films about black exploitation. It's meta-ironic, criticizing exploitation while literally exploiting black artists' work. Bakshi's anti-racist satire was built partially on theft from black creators, undercutting his moral authority and exposing hypocrisy at the production's foundation. 15. Scatman Crothers defended it until he couldn't. Voice actor Scatman Crothers initially defended Coonskin's satire publicly, arguing it was a legitimate social commentary, but escalating threats and community pressure forced him to distance himself from the project. Crothers essentially recanted under duress, betraying his artistic convictions to protect his career and safety. His capitulation proved even black artists involved couldn't withstand the controversy, forced to disavow work they genuinely believed in because social pressure made defense untenable and dangerous. 14. The mafia scenes were based on real criminals. Bakshi modeled the corrupt police and mafia characters on actual organized crime figures controlling 1970s New York.
You and your friends has cost me and my revolution too much.
Some character designs directly referenced real mobsters, creating potential legal and physical danger. The criminals depicted weren't abstractions. They were recognizable parodies of people who killed witnesses and controlled film industry unions. Bakshi risked genuine mob retaliation, satirizing people who were murdered for smaller offenses.
Your cuts, man, picked up, man. Picked up!
The film's danger was literal, mocking criminals powerful enough to have Bakshi killed. 13. The budget came from adult film profits. Production financing partially came from pornography industry profits, with adult film distributors investing in Coonskin hoping Bakshi's controversy would translate to box office. The anti-racist satire was funded by pornographers, creating an uncomfortable relationship between exploitation criticism and exploitative funding sources. Money from sexual exploitation financed criticism of racial exploitation, revealing how the underground film economy depended on various exploitation forms, cross-subsidizing each other through morally questionable financial networks. 12. Multiple theaters were firebombed. Several theaters showing Coonskin were firebombed or received bomb threats, forcing cancellations and creating genuine terrorism around the film's exhibition. The violence wasn't metaphorical. Actual explosives were used to suppress the film through fear and physical destruction. Projectionists and theater owners faced real danger screening it, making the exhibition an act of courage or stupidity depending on perspective. The film became literally too dangerous to show, with terrorism successfully achieving censorship that protests alone couldn't accomplish. 11. Barry White's music was used without permission. The film's soundtrack prominently featured Barry White's music without proper licensing or artist consent. White was furious, threatening lawsuits and publicly denouncing Bakshi for unauthorized use.
Got the devil in me, it's the man you see. Put that devil in me, yeah, it's the man that...
The stolen music meant subsequent releases had to substitute different songs, fragmenting the original artistic vision. Bakshi's film criticizing cultural theft was built partially on actual theft from black musicians, exposing fundamental hypocrisy and legal vulnerability that undermined both moral authority and commercial viability. 10. The Tar Baby sequence ended careers. The Uncle Tom's Cabin sequence featuring the Tar Baby was so controversial that several animators who worked on it found themselves unemployable afterward. Studios blacklisted artists associated with the sequence, regardless of their actual beliefs or intentions. Working on Coonskin became a career death sentence, proving Hollywood punished everyone connected to controversial work, not just decision-makers. Animators lost livelihoods for following directions, collateral damage in cultural warfare over content they didn't control. 9. Albert S. Ruddy pulled his name. Producer Albert S. Ruddy, fresh off Godfather success, removed his name from Coonskin after the controversy erupted. He abandoned the project publicly, trying to distance his reputation from the disaster. Ruddy's cowardice left Bakshi without powerful Hollywood protection, making the filmmaker vulnerable to attacks that established producers could have deflected. Its ultimate betrayal. Producer fleeing the controversy he helped create, sacrificing artists to protect his own career and future projects. 8. The film was banned in multiple countries. Coonskin was banned outright in several countries, including parts of Europe and all of Africa where it was submitted. International censors deemed it too inflammatory, regardless of satirical intent. The global rejection proved Bakshi's racial satire was culturally untranslatable, reading as straightforward racism outside American context. The film's failure internationally demonstrated that satire requires shared cultural understanding, and Bakshi's specific American racial commentary was incomprehensible or offensive everywhere else without that framework. 7. Bakshi cast his own son in blackface. Bakshi's own son appeared in the live-action opening performing in blackface, creating disturbing family complicity in the controversial imagery. Involving his child in racially provocative material exposed Bakshi's entire family to backlash and criticism. It's exploiting your own child for controversial art, using family members as props in cultural warfare. The decision reveals Bakshi's total commitment to his vision, willing to sacrifice even his son's reputation and safety for artistic statement. 6. The prison rape scene was censored everywhere. The brutal prison rape sequence was cut from virtually all releases after initial screenings, deemed too graphic even for X-rated film. The scene depicted sexual violence so explicitly that even Bakshi's defenders acknowledged it crossed lines. Subsequent versions omit the sequence entirely, meaning most viewers have never seen the complete film. The censorship proved even Bakshi's controversial vision contained content too extreme to defend, forcing self-censorship that contradicted his free speech absolutism. 5. Philip Michael Thomas regretted his involvement. Actor Philip Michael Thomas, who later became famous on Miami Vice, voiced the lead character but spent decades trying to erase his Coonskin involvement from his biography. He refused to discuss the film in interviews and attempted to have his credit removed from databases. Thomas's career-long shame about the project reveals how toxic association became for everyone involved. Even decades later, with safety from immediate controversy, participants couldn't publicly acknowledge their work without embarrassment. 4. The blaxploitation satire became blaxploitation. Coonskin intended to critique blaxploitation films, but was marketed and distributed as actual blaxploitation, undermining its entire purpose. Distributors sold it using exact tropes and imagery Bakshi was satirizing, making the critique indistinguishable from the thing criticized. The marketing betrayed the content, proving commercial distribution couldn't sell satire without becoming the thing satirized. Bakshi's anti-exploitation film was exploited identically to films it attacked, collapsing the critical distance necessary for satire to function. 3. The original cut was 30 minutes longer. Bakshi's original cut ran over 2 hours with extensive sequences later destroyed or lost. The version audiences saw was brutally edited from a much longer film with additional context and character development that might have clarified satirical intent. The missing footage potentially contained material explaining Bakshi's vision more clearly, but it's lost forever. We've never seen the complete film Bakshi intended, only a compromised fragment that preserved controversial imagery while losing explanatory context that might have prevented total rejection. 2. It ended Bakshi's major studio career. Coonskin destroyed Ralph Bakshi's relationship with major studios permanently. He was effectively blacklisted from mainstream Hollywood financing, forced into smaller independent projects for decades. The film that should have established him as an important artist instead marked him as commercially toxic and too controversial for major investment. His career never recovered from Coonskin's failure, proving Hollywood punishes artists who create controversy regardless of artistic merit, intent, or critical defense of the work. 1. The film predicted its own cancellation. Coonskin's narrative about suppression, silencing, and violent reaction to uncomfortable truth became a self-fulfilling prophecy. The film literally depicted its own reception. Controversial art provoking violent rejection from all sides, unable to tolerate difficult truths about American racism. Bakshi created a film predicting it would be destroyed for being made, and reality perfectly matched fiction. Its meta-commentary so accurate it proved itself correct through its own suppression, making the film's failure its ultimate validation and most powerful statement. From death threats and firebombings to career destruction and literal erasure, Coonskin proves America prefers comfortable lies over uncomfortable truths about racism. If these revelations shocked you, hit that subscribe button for more dangerous facts about films too controversial to survive. Keep your satire sharp and your controversies career-ending. That's all, folks, and that's exactly the problem.